Welcome back. All right, 5 games tonight. Happy St. Patrick's Day and all of that. The games are done early as well, so that's kind of fun. Not a ton of scoring tonight outside of this game here. It averages out to roughly 4 goals per game tonight, so kind of a quiet night for scoring. Oddly enough, it seems like the scoring's higher on nights where there's a lot of games. Maybe it just feels that way to me. Anyways, all right, we'll start things off with the Sabres and the Bruins. So, Luukkonen versus Korpisalo. There's a power play for the Sabres. They do score on it. Krebs roofs one from the left circle. Quinn and Power with the assists at 4:19. Shots are 6-0 Buffalo at 5.5 minutes. There's a near miss then for Zucker from the slot. We get a power play for Boston. That becomes 51 seconds of 5-on-3. Everything gets killed off there. Greenway then has a fight with Zadorov. Following that at 13 minutes on a cross-crease pass, Zacha buries one to tie it. Geekie and Pasternak with the assists. Kastelik to Brown, there's a near miss there. And then at 15-13, it's Morgan Geekie giving Boston their first lead of the game. He scores from Wotherspoon at 15-13. The Bruins press with 2.5 minutes left. But after a slow start, they played pretty well. They're up 2-1 after the first. Second period. Early power play for the Sabres. That's killed off. The Sabres press after it's done. Shots are 2-1 Buffalo at 5 minutes. The Bruins then press at 8.5 minutes. Pasternak's tonight on a breakaway. The shots are 3-2 Buffalo at the half. At 12:46, Buffalo ties it. Power with a one-timer from the left circle from McLeod and Byram. Things are pushed on a hole by Korpisalo. Sabres press with 3 minutes left. Tuck has a net drive chance near miss there. With 7.5 seconds left, the Sabres go to the power play. So it's 2-2 after 2. Sabres power play start in the third. The Bruins do finish the kill. Boston presses at 4 minutes, but the shots are 4-0 Buffalo 5.5 minutes in. A net feed to Geekie gets held. There's a net feed to Murray that gets picked off by the Bruins. Clifton's denied. The Bruins rush after that. The Sabres press with 6 minutes left. Things get pushed in a hole by Korpisalo. We then had an issue with the glass, and there's a delay for that. Bruins press with 2 minutes left. Things get pushy at the horn, but we're going to overtime. The overtime, Lowry has a rush chance that's saved. Darlene then has a chance that's saved at the other end. Tuck couldn't bury one in close. Zadorov's net drive is saved as well. Really exciting overtime. Honestly, better than the third period. Teams trade rush chances. We get a power play for Buffalo. Boston fans let the officials know that they didn't agree with the call. A lot of booing. But at 4:47, just as we're getting ready for a shootout, Tuck scores. He fires it past a screen. Or Power fired it past the screen. I think Tuck tipped it in. Power and Quinn with the assists. Buffalo wins in Boston 3-2 in overtime. They go to 27-33-6 with the win. With the loss in overtime, Boston drops to 30-30-9 on the season. Shots on net, 8-7 Boston in the first, 9-4 Buffalo in the second, 8-5 Buffalo in the third, 6-2 Buffalo in the overtime. Final shots 30-19 for the Sabres. Power plays, Buffalo 2 for 4, Boston 0 for 2. The hits 31-27 Boston. Luukkonen saves 17 out of 19. Korpisalo saves 27 out of 30. Both goaltenders played pretty well. All right, moving along. The Philadelphia Flyers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Fedotov versus Vasilevsky. I think Fedotov plays his best hockey against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Michkov with an early near miss. Shots are 4-1 Tampa 3.5 minutes in. Sealer fires one high on a rush. The Flyers press at 7 minutes. We get a power play for the Flyers. That's killed off. Their power play has been a problem. Shots are 9-8 Tampa with 6 minutes left. The Bolts press with 3.5 minutes left with 2:19 left. Tampa Bay gets a power play. That becomes 4-on-4. During the 4-on-4, Kucherov would score. He roofs one on a breakaway at 18 minutes and 30 seconds. Everything then gets killed off. We go to the second period with the score 1-0 Tampa. Good Flyers forecheck early on. The Flyers press at 3 minutes, but then they have too many men on the ice, so Tampa gets the power play out of that. We then get 2 seconds of 4-on-4 towards the end of that power play. The Flyers get a turn on the power play. The Flyers score, but the puck was considered frozen, so no goal there. They weren't happy about it. The Bolts do then finish the kill. Flyers press at 8.5 minutes. In fact, the shots are 4-0 Philly 9 minutes in. The Flyers press with 9.5 minutes left. We get a 4-minute power play for the Flyers. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Glendening. That's saved. Crossbar for Tippett. That power play is killed off. The Flyers press briefly after it's done. Tampa presses in the final minute. It's still 1-0 Tampa after 2. Third period. Hagel's denied on a fast break. Shots are 2-1 Philly at 4 minutes. Gensel has a rush chance. That's saved. Perbix fires one wide as the Bolts get some pressure. Paul misses one high on a net drive. The Flyers press with 6 minutes left. Konechny fires one wide on a 2-on-1 rush. Tippett has a net feed, that's picked off. Gord has a turnover chance, that's held. The goalie pull happens with 2:05 left. With 1:47 left, the Bolts get a 4-minute power play. So Flyers call a timeout. They would pull the goaltender to get it to 5-on-5, and Gensel hits the empty net on the power play from Kucherov and point at 18:30. The other 2-minute power play runs out the rest of the game. Tampa Bay wins 2-0. So the chess magnets on the board, the Tony the Tiger magnets on the board as well, because Vasilevsky was great. Tampa goes to 39-23-5 with the win. Philadelphia 28-33-8 with the loss. Shots on net, 11-9 Tampa in the first, 5-4 Philadelphia in the second, 8-7 Tampa in the third. Final shots 23-21 for the Lightning. Power plays, Philadelphia went 0 for 5. That's a problem. Tampa Bay went 1 for 4. The hits, 41-19 Philadelphia. So they were physical tonight. Fedotov saves 21 out of 22, and Vasilevsky 21 saves for the shutout. All right, next up, New Jersey in Columbus. And both of these teams desperately need wins. Allen versus Greaves in this one. Fantilli has a net drive. That's saved. Kovacevic has a wrister that's held. Teams trade turnovers. The shots are 5-1 Columbus at 5 minutes. Columbus was all over New Jersey a lot in this one. Devils draw a power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Olivier that's saved. That power play is killed off. Columbus has a 3-on-2 that misfires. Things get pushy on a hold by Allen. Shots are 8-3 Columbus with 6.5 minutes left. The Devils press with 5.5 minutes left. Columbus is blocking the net pretty well at that point. The Devils would press in the final minute. There's no score after the first. Second period. Things get pushy behind the Devils' net. Marchenko then has a chance. That's held. Columbus presses at 2 minutes. The teams trade rushes. Howla's denied from the slot. Shots are 5-1 Columbus at 4.5 minutes. Again, they just really dominated large stretches of this game. In fact, halfway through the game, there's 9 shots for New Jersey. So they're not getting a lot of opportunities. Luke Hughes has a rush chance. That's saved. Kent Johnson's denied. Allen holds. And then at 13:35, not long after that, Meyer goes 5-hole on a net drive. Nason and Heischer with the assists. It's 1-0 for the Devils. Columbus presses to answer, but at 14:14, Jesper Bratt with kind of a gift here. Greaves tips it right to him, and so he puts it in the net, goes thanks, and it's 2-0 New Jersey on that play. Devils press with 4 minutes left. Danforth to Aston Reese gets blocked, and there's some boo birds out at the horn, which is odd because they had outshot New Jersey and outchanced New Jersey. They were down 2-0. So in the third, early press by Columbus. In fact, 3 minutes in, the shots are 4-0 in favor of the Blue Jackets. Chinikov has a chance that's held. 8 minutes in, the shots are 12-1 Columbus. How many different ways could I have written? Columbus pressures. New Jersey's down. New Jersey's trying to block. More pressure by Columbus at 9 minutes. We get a power play for Columbus. That's killed off. And then at 13:24, Olivier scores from Danforth and Aston Reese. And then Columbus just keeps pouring it on. They press to tie it. Columbus, more pressure with 4.5 minutes left. Voronkov has a net feed that's held. They would pull the goalie, and with 16.4 seconds left, Columbus calls a timeout. Whatever they discussed does not work. New Jersey holds on. They win this one 2-1. They go to 37-26-6. If I could just have Jake Allen's face up there, I would, because the rest of the Devils, I don't know. Columbus 31-28-8. This one hurts. Columbus now is in trouble in terms of their hopes of making the playoffs. Below the playoff line, and they lose an opportunity to gain ground on the Rangers. Shots on net favored Columbus the whole way through. 8-5 in the first, 14-12 in the second, 24-3 in the third. They outshoot New Jersey 46-20. Both teams go 0 for 1 on the power play in this one. The hits 25-15 Columbus. Allen 45 saves on 46 shots. Fantastic game. Greaves saves 18 out of 20. He was good, just did not get the goal support because Jake Allen was a wall at the other end. Speaking of which, Wall was in net tonight for Toronto, and I did get a kick out of people that weren't happy about it because Stolarz had pads custom made for the St. Patrick's game, and then he doesn't get to play in it as Wall instead. But either way, it's Wolf versus Wall, so I feel bad for the announcer in this game because trying to keep that straight, right? Early jump for Toronto, and at 1:47, Domi fires one from the slot. Benoit and OEL with the assist. So Ekman Larson on the board. It's not the last time he'll be on the board tonight either. Flames press to respond, but the shots are 4-0 Toronto 3 minutes in. We get a power play for the Flames. A short-handed rush by Yarncroke ends that. So that's killed off. 2 shots on net there. Flames press at 6.5 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by Wall. The Flames get their second power play, so the Leafs kill that one off as well. Leafs press with 6.5 minutes left. The teams trade rushes. The Leafs press with a minute and a half left, but at 19:13 on a rush, the Flames tie it. It's Rasmus Andersson from Huberdeau and Pospisil, and it's 1-1 after the first. Second period, early power play for the Leafs, and they score on it. At 1:39, it's Nylander, past a screen from the left circle, the assist to Marner and Matthews. We then get a power play for the Flames. They score during that power play, but was the play offside? Yep. So that doesn't count, and then the Leafs finish the kill. So no worries about a tie game there. Teams trade rushes. Matthews has a slot shot. That gets blocked. Anderson has a one-timer. That's held. Things get pushy on a hold by Wall. The Leafs press at 7 minutes. And at 9:34, Robertson on a pass from behind the goal line. He scores. Domi and Ekman-Larsson with the assist. So there's Ekman-Larsson again. Shots are 7-5 Flames with 8 minutes left. McMahon is denied and close. We then get a power play for the Leafs, and they score on it. It's Matthews wiring one from the right circle. Nylander and Marner with the assists at 15:41. With 1:51 left, the Leafs go back to the power play. They score on it again. This time it's Matthews again. This time, though, from the slot, he goes far corner. Nyes and Nylander with the assists at 18:54. So after the second period of play, the score is 5-1 in favor of Toronto. Third period, early jump for Calgary, but during a delayed penalty, the Leafs score again. McMahon from Riley and Yarncroke at 3:03. So they score 3 times on the power play and once during a delayed call where they had a 6-on-5. Shots are 4-1 Flames at 6 minutes. So the one shot for Toronto went in. That's the luck that the Flames had tonight. The Leafs press at the half. There's a post for Robertson. We get a power play for the Flames. That's killed off. The Flames press with 3.5 minutes left. Eventually, they do score one to avoid the no mercy magnet. At 19:12, it's Ball from Hunt and Sharangovich, but that's as close as Calgary gets. 6-2 is your final. The Leafs go to 40, 24, and 3. They keep pace with the Lightning and get to within 2 points of the lead in the division. This is going to be a crazy 3-way horse race to the finish. The Flames 30, 25, and 11 with the loss. Tough loss for Calgary. They stay outside the playoffs. Shots on net, 14-6 Toronto in the first, 12-7 Toronto in the second, 13-3 Calgary in the third. Final shots 29-26 for the Leafs. Power plays Calgary 0-4. Toronto went 3-3, so that's what hurt Calgary tonight. The hits 31-20 Calgary. Wolf saved 21 out of 26. Vladar went in for the third and saved 2 of the 3 shots he faced. Wall saved 24 out of 26. And Stolarz, nice mask and nice pads for the St. Patrick's game. If the Leafs follow a usual pattern, it's not the last time we're going to see those pads and that mask. I would imagine they'll do another St. Patrick's game before the season is done. All right, next up, LA and the Minnesota Wild. So final game of the night, Kemper and Gustafsson, the goaltenders in this one. Turcotte has a wrister that's caught and held. Shots are 2-1 for the Kings at 3.5 minutes. We get a power play for LA, and they score on it. At 4:59, it's Kempe burying a cross-ice pass. Fiala and Doughty with the assists. It's 1-0 for the LA Kings. Kings press at the half. The Wild press with 8.5 minutes left. Clark has a shot that's tipped aside. Merrill prevents an LA Kings goal. The Wild press with a minute and a half left. It's 1-0 for the Kings after 1. Second period, the Kings score, but it's waved off for goalie interference. There was no challenge to see whether or not that was the right call. Probably the right call, not challenging the call. So then we get a power play for the Wild, and they score on it. At 1:51, Hartman tips one in. Spurgeon fired it past a screen, so there was no chance for Kemper there. That ties the game at 1. We get a power play for the LA Kings. Minnesota does kill that off. Shots are 5-4 for LA at 9 minutes. The Kings press with 9.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Kings. That's killed off. Their power play had some opportunities tonight, didn't it? Byfield can't bury one in close. The shots were 13-5 for the Kings with 3.5 minutes left. The teams trade turnovers. Nobody got a shot the rest of the way. And so we go to the third period tied at 1. There's an early Kings power play in the third period. Doughty has a one-timer that's held. And then it becomes 24 seconds of 4-on-4. A Minnesota power play on the other side. Everything gets killed off there. Shots are 3-1 LA at 5 minutes. The Kings press at 6 minutes. But the Wild start getting some pressure. They press 8.5 minutes in. Anderson prevents a Wild goal, and that looked like it hurt. Shots are 6-3 Wild with 6.5 minutes left. The Kings press with 5.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Wild with 5 minutes and 12 seconds left, and they score on it. At 15:20, Zuccarello wrists one short side. Boldy and Hartman with the assists, so the Kings would pull the goaltender with roughly 3 minutes left. And at 19:04, Johansson hits the empty net from Spurgeon to make the final score 3-1 and avoid a third chest magnet needed out of 5 games. So with the 3-1 win, the Wild go to 38-25-5. They needed this to get some more cushion above that playoff line. The Kings 36-21-9 with the loss. Shots on net, 9-8 Minnesota in the first, 13-5 LA in the second. Both teams had 8 shots in the third. Final shots 29-22 for the Kings. Power plays, LA 1 for 4, Minnesota 2 for 3. The hits, 18 apiece in this one. Kemper saves 19 out of 21. Gustafsson saved 28 out of 29. So, yeah, 28 saves on 29 shots. Not a bad night for Gustafsson. And there you go. You're all caught up. It's an early night. Hope you've had a good St. Patrick's Day. And if you haven't, well, by my count, it's not over yet. And even on the East Coast, it's not done yet. So this is a weird world, isn't it, that we're seeing a review this early. But once we get to the playoffs, that's going to be a normal thing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for all your support as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.